Our next question for Gene Crowder. With the unmistakable aroma of the Harmac pulp mill occasionally wafting through our city, how can we be certain we are being strict enough when it comes to industrial emissions?
Well, there's a couple of things. One, I've worked with a number of the pulp mills, and the smell doesn't necessarily mean it's pollution. So I think one of the things that we actually need to do is educate the general public about what it is that they're smelling. I know, for example, the Catalyst Mill in Crofton has a joint committee set up between the citizens in around the Crofton area and the mill, so that they work jointly on that environmental process. So that's one piece of it. The second piece is that Canada does have standards around pulp mill emissions, and the mills are meeting the standards that are in place with those pulp mill emissions, and I think we've certainly seen over the last number of years improvements in those emissions. If again, I would encourage citizens, if they have concerns, to contact the local mills and get involved with the local mills. I certainly, the data that I've seen has indicated that our mills are meeting those standards and are doing a reasonably good job. There is some green investment that the mills are looking at in terms of decreasing their pollution, and many of them are actually exceeding the standards that have set in Canada. So I think,
Please don't restrict yourself just to talking about pulp mills. Okay. And of course we have reported as well that Harmac, just to be clear, is certainly meeting the emission standards and better, actually. I simply mentioned the aroma because it is a reminder here in Nanaimo that the mill is sitting there, not to suggest that they are polluting our city. But I just wanted to get that on the record for the Nanaimo Daily. John Corey, we go to you.
I have the pleasure of opening my front door every day in Maple Bay, which is near the Crofton Catalyst operations. Open the door, and when I smell what's going on in Crofton, I say, people are working. Now, Gene Crowder's right. Investments have been made, standards are being met, but they're also being reduced. And the federal government has invested millions of dollars into the Harmac Pacific and Catalyst operations in order to help them reduce their greenhouse gas emissions at the same time and lower their environmental footprint, but also increase their productivity by making them more efficient, reducing their production costs, to allow them to be more competitive. So there's a lot of value add to the important infrastructure, targeted green technologies that the federal government has already invested into these mills and is committed to doing more going forward.
Thank you. Anne-Marie Benoit.
Well, the Green Party has platform, and I trust the Green Party to have more transparency. And if people do worry about the smell of the pulp mill, as I would be too, as I am. I don't smell it, but I would be worried about that if it was nearby. And I think that's what people want, more transparency. They want to be sure if what Ms. Crowder said is it's true, it sounds trustworthy, but I would need to know for sure that we are safe, that our water are safe, everything is safe, what we're breathing is safe. It doesn't cause cancer, then I want to prove that that's for sure that doesn't cause cancer, lung cancer. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Fillmore.
Yeah, and I think the question, like you said, it's about all industrial pollution, and I think citizens just want to feel content that they're safe. And in Canada, we do have a lot of safety standards, environmental policies that are in place, and we are one of the safest countries in the world in that regards. If you do have any questions, then just once I'm elected as MP, just come and ask me, and I'll make sure we take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you. We come to our final question, and we are going to begin with John Corey. How can we address the pension and quality of life concerns of our aging population?
And it's a good question. The federal government is taking a balanced approach to these issues. There's so much that needs to be done on this issue, but the one thing we have done is we have raised the GIS for seniors. $600 for seniors and $840 for couples. We've also lowered their taxes. We've wiped nearly 1 million people off the tax rolls by increasing the personal tax exemption. Many of those people are seniors. We've also invested $300 million into more services for seniors, and we've also invested $400 million in a national housing for seniors. More needs to be done, there's no question. But this Conservative government has demonstrated that it is making commitments in these areas, and we will continue to do that once we become the government again.
Thank you. Anne-Marie Benoit, 1 minute, please.
We talk about pension, and I've been hearing, I don't know exactly what the issue would be, and if I am representing the aging population, I would be compelled to look into it. And when it comes to pension, as the cost of living is getting up, I believe their pension should go up too as well to accommodate the rise of living right now, the price of living. So if there is an issue, I would be again very interested in working with the aging population to satisfy their need in Ottawa. Thank you.
Brian Fillmore.
Very, very important part of the Liberal Family PAC plan is pensions, and the Liberal government has promised to immediately start gradually increasing the Canada pension, as well as immediately put $700 million into increasing the GIS so that seniors can immediately have that increase right away. And a really creative thing they've come up with that I'm really excited about is a secure retirement option, so that younger people, like 75% of people working in private industry in Canada don't have a pension anymore. So they're going to allow the secure retirement option, which will allow you to, within the limits of 5 to 10%, you'll be able to put additional into your Canada pension plan, so it will allow it to grow without all those extra costs on them like they do with our RSPs. So basically, you at the Daily News here, if the staff didn't have a pension, would be able to contribute to your staff's pension and give them a more secure retirement. Thank you.
Thank you. Jean Crowder.
The NDP has three proposals on pensions. One is that over a period of a number of years, doubling Canada Pension Plan, increasing GIS by $700 million a year. And the third thing is that for private sector pensions, changing the bankruptcy protection laws so that pensions actually come to the top of the list. Right now that they're not at the top of the list. So when companies like Nortel go under, people were really concerned about their pensions. When it comes to quality of life, housing is a big issue for seniors, particularly in Nanaimo. Although the cost of rents here are lower, seniors are starting to feel squeezed, and so this is the importance of having that national affordable housing strategy that has that range of housing that includes rentals, co-ops, social housing. The other issues around quality of life is as seniors age and need to look at other care options. I mentioned earlier long-term care, home support care, pharmacare. Those are all important aspects of working on quality of life for seniors.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of our question and answer session. Take a deep breath. We're going to go to summations from each of you. You'll have 1 minute to wrap things up today, and we're going to follow our same order. So we begin with Anne-Marie.
Well, conclusion. People are always saying that the Green Party is a one-issue party, but that's not true. We have hundreds of fully costed policy on everything from affordable housing to youth crime. People say that the Green Party isn't here to stay, but we're the only party that increased the vote in the last federal election by 250,000, and we got almost 1 million votes. In Brazil, 19 million people voted Green. In Germany, Green defeated the Conservative in one of the richest states of the country. In Britain, voters elected the leader of the Green Party, Caroline Lucas, as their MP. It's time to vote Green. Anne-Marie Benoit for the Green Party, Cowichan, Nanaimo-Cowichan. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Fillmore, please.
The whole reason we're here today is because the Conservative government was not honest with Canadians. They brought forward a budget, and they tried to hide the cost of the biggest spending government in Canadian history, and they tried to sneak it under the table, and that's why we're in an election here today. And we can't continue. So what you really have to decide is what your priorities are. And the Conservative government, their priorities are big $30 billion jet fighters, U.S.-style mega prisons, which we didn't get a chance to talk to about today, but that's not where I want my money to go. And tax cuts of $5 to $6 billion for the wealthiest corporations. When 1% of Canadians pay less tax, the top 1% of Canadians pay less tax than the bottom 10%. So the priorities are a liberal government is actually putting families first, and they have the proven track record to actually be able to run a government and also offer a balanced budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Gene Crowder.
I'd like to begin by thanking the Daily News for putting on this forum. I know that there's a lot of people watching. I want to thank my fellow candidates and others who have participated. The NDP has practical, affordable solutions. Our platform is fully costed. It's been verified by an independent third party. And our platform is talking about creating jobs, improving health care, protecting the environment, and making life more affordable for Canadians and for people right here in Nanaimo-Cowichan. And some of those practical solutions talk about help for small and medium-sized businesses. We know that most businesses here are small and medium-sized businesses. It talks about the health care when it talks about seniors and the support for seniors through long-term care and home support care, making sure that their pensions are livable. And environment's very important, and we can use those environmental initiatives like the Green Jobs Fund that we talked about to support local business, to create those local initiatives. And I know we've got some really good examples right here in Nanaimo about local businesses, whether it's using methane to generate electricity, whether it's wastewater treatment through wetlands, whether it's robotics. We've got that knowledge-based economy that we can use those kinds of initiatives for. May 2nd, vote Gene Crowder.
Thank you. Final word goes to you, John Corey.
Thank you. Well, the voters in this riding have an important decision to make. The decision between a strong majority member of parliament in government or a member of parliament in opposition. And far too long, this riding has been represented by the opposition. I'm asking voters to let other ridings carry the burden of opposition, and let's get a voice in government to help advocate for the needs and the priorities that we have all throughout this huge riding. I've been meeting with people at the doorstep and local governments and community groups and organizations and business, and we have important things that need to be done, and they're wanting their government to get back to work. They're not happy with this election. They think it's a waste of money, and that we should just be continuing on putting in that second phase of the Canada Economic Action Plan. And with your vote, we can have a strong member of Parliament in government to advocate for the needs and the priorities of this community. On May 2nd, please vote John Corey, the Conservatives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Nanaimo Daily News Editorial Board and all the staff here, I'd like to thank you very much for taking part.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Thanks.